Alrighty, let me get this out the way. And I'm going to tell you about the subject, which is subject is numbers. Good evening, everyone. People have asked me, well, am I this number? Am I that number? Or whatever the case is. Believe it or not, I was working on some graphics, but I kind of wait till last minute. So some of it will, I'm going to explain it as best I can without the graphics for right now. You are more than just one number. There is the long range number, and then there's the short range number, all coming from your birthday. So when I talk to a client, the one thing I try to explain, which makes numerology so fascinating, not only does it deal with your birthday, but your name. And when I'm talking to a client, I says, your birthday tells me the why you're here, but your name tells me the what you know. And once it's broken down like that, it makes a lot of sense. So what happens is I have so there's several. So getting back to the birthday, there's a long range and a short range. Most people are familiar with adding the month, the day, and the year they're born. That is called that's what I call the long range number. By adding the month, the day, and the year they're born. So one example I gave, and I'll try to review that later on because I really can't multitask and do everything at the same time right now. But the point is that what it does is it indicates over the long time, from the time you get here, from the womb to the tomb, you will always be following this journey. You will always be on this course. Now, the term that is often used by us numerologists is life path, birth path, destiny number, etc. I have to assume, or at least I started recently assuming that, well, because I'm talking to a client, they may not know what I'm talking about. So the way I put it, and what I did was I used the example that I was going to show on the screen. Well, I have to do that in another time. I took December the 24th of 1984. By taking the month, the day, and the year of this person's birthday, it added out to a 4. So they would say, well, you have a 4 destiny, you have a 4 life path, you have a 4 birth path. But if the person says, well, what does that mean? Because don't forget, in each occupational career, there are always jargons that are used, whether in banks or business or real estate, music. And the way I explain it to make it simple, the month, the day, and the year you're born tells me what grade you're in the school of life. That seems to help a person understand that we're all here to learn something. We just come from the birthday. So in this case, this person, therefore, born on December the 24th of 1984, would symbolically be in the 4th grade in the school of life. So each grade, you learn something. So 4 is about being structured, organized, having a plan of action. So I'll start with the number 1. If a person's month, day, and year adds up to a 1, it tells me you're symbolically in the 1st grade in the school of life. That's during the course of your journey from the beginning to the end, from the womb to the tomb. At some point, it's about learning how to be independent, self-reliant, standing on your own, striking out on your own. People in the 1st grade along their journey will normally attract those under the signs of Leo, Aquarius, Aries as a rule, or they'll be born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. Now, let's say your date of birth, by adding the month, the day, and the year you're born, adds up to a number 2. Now, it all depends. Now, when we get to 2, there's 11. And, for those that are, it all depends on the math. Right now, I'm going to keep it simple. But if your month, day, and year you're born adds up to a 2, you're in the 2nd grade of the school, in the school of life. That means while you're here to learn the right use in the spirit of cooperation, teamwork, patience, understanding, making of the peace, bringing pieces, bringing people together, especially in oppositional cases. They are your persuaders in life. And during the course of their journey, they're likely to deal with or meet those under the sign of Cancer or Taurus, or people that are born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. Now, let's say your month, day, and year of birth is in the 3rd grade, or is the number 3. It tells me symbolically you're in the 3rd grade in the school of life. Now, this is considered one of the most fortunate grades to be in because 3 is about fun. It is ruled by Jupiter, the good luck planet. It means people who are normally doing this journey to be creative, expressive, imaginative, articulate, popular, social beings, things of that nature. People in the third grade or who have the month and day and the year they're born add up to a 3. Along their journey will attract to them those under the signs of Pisces or Sagittarius, or they'll be born on the 3rd or the 6th, the 12th or the 6th, the 15th, the 21st, the 24th, and the 30th of the month. Okay, that's for those in the third grade. Now, people in the fourth grade, like the example we gave, being on the month, the day, and the year, tells me from the womb to the tomb, they are about order and boundaries and structure and getting things together. Normally, the people in the fourth grade normally have to put in the work, but if they don't have this entitlement attitude and know how to put in the effort, before it's all over, they will be compensated. They're kind of the late bloomers. They may be the last to do this and the last to do that, but they'll wind up having the last laugh. Now, if you're in the fourth grade, that tells me along your journey, you'll attract Aquarians, or you'll attract Leos, in a minor way, Geminis, or they'll be born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of any month. Now, let's say the month, the day, and the year you're born adds up to a 5. It tells me symbolically you're in the 5th grade in the school of life. And what that means is about change, adaptability, flexibility, diversification, variety, freedom, movement, always some kind of activity. I notice that people in the 5th grade, or if your month, day, and year you're born adds up to a 5, normally there's a change in the life every about 4.5 to 5 years, either with a relationship, a residence, a job, or something of that nature. Now, along your journey, if you're in the 5th grade in the school of life, you're likely to attract those under the signs along this journey of Geminis, Virgos, and a minor way Aquarius, or they will be born on the 5th or the 6th, the 14th or the 15th, the 23rd or the 24th of the month. Now, let's say the month, the day, and the year you're born adds up to a 6. That tells me you're in the 6th grade in the school of life. Now, don't forget, these numbers represent long range. It's not more immediate. There's this I learned over my course of doing this. But if you're in the 6th grade in the school of life, your mission is about raising people's consciousness through teaching, guidance, advising. People in the 6th grade are normally, I call them the crowd pleaser or the teacher's pet in school. They normally do well in areas connected with the arts, with business, with service, and primarily almost always in the 6th grade before it's over with them. They wind up being of service in some way, shape, or form. Social workers, teachers, things of that nature. Anyway, if you're in the 6th grade in the school of life, it tells me that those under the signs of Taurus and Libra, or people born on the 3rd or the 6th, the 12th or the 15th, the 21st, the 24th, or the 30th of the month, will play an important part along your journey in this course of life. From the time we get here to the time we reach the other side of the rainbow, as I say. Now, let's say the month, the day, and the year you're born in our viewers happens to be in the 7th grade or 7. That tells me you're in the 7th grade in the school of life. People who have a destiny, life path, birth path, or in this case, in the 7th grade in the school of life, tend to be the learners in life. They tend to question, they tend to analyze, they tend to be the researchers, they tend to go down the rabbit hole. You can't say something to them other than, why did you say what you said, and why did you do what you do? So if you find that in your course of life, you're always questioning things, especially in religion, because most of the founders of religious movements have been sevens, from Christ celebrated on the 25th, Buddha born on the 7th, things of that nature. So they normally tend to find their own religion at some point and their own way of how they think. Along the course of their journey, they will tend to attract those under the signs of Cancer and Pisces, or they'll be born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. Now, let's say the month, the day, and the year you're born adds up to a number 8. It means symbolically you're in the 8th grade in the school of life. And it means you got to learn to be steadfast, learn to be faithful, learn to be loyal, learn to be very focused and determined. People I noticed in the 8th grade as well as the 4th grade, but more so in the 8th grade, tend to be children of fate or destiny. You're planning to do something, but fate or destiny happens. You wind up doing something else. So let's say a person in the eighth grade is married to somebody that may not have been the person they had planned to marry in the first place, but as fate or destiny would have it, they wind up marrying this person or going in this direction or following this career. So it's not that people in the 8th grade don't have control of their lives. They do to a degree. But it also indicates that there are higher forces sometimes that come into the mix to kind of change the flavor or the destiny of how they're going along their journey. Capricorns, Aquarians, Librans, and people born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th are likely to help or assist them along their journey. Now, let's say you're in the 9th grade in the school of life when you add your month, your day, and your year together. Being in the 9th grade, it tells me that you're here to learn in this grade how to be universal, global, international, influential, motivational, bringing out the best in people. It's about being worldly. People in the 9th grade, I normally tell them, you know how you start a job and you're trying to find your niche. Well, when the 9th grade or people in the 9th grade, I tell them whatever they do, they should do something that's universal. Like universally, everybody got to eat. Universally, everybody got to protect themselves from the elements by way of clothing. I'm not talking about fashion and all this other stuff, but basic human things that are normally required. In the course of their journey being in the 9th grade, they normally will attract those under the signs of Aries, Scorpio, Leo, or people born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month. Now, what about those in the master number 11th grade? Okay. Well, here's how I put it. Normally, the grades go from 1 to 9. If your month, day, and year you're born, depending on how you add it, and how I add is I put the month at the top, the date of birth underneath that, the year underneath that, add my columns down, add it across. This is how I feel comfortable determining the master numbers. But if your number adds up to the master number 11, it's like having your master's degree in the school of life. So that means you're functioning at a very high level. You're raising people's consciousness. You're coming up with great concepts and ideas and things that are more visionary in the mind that you can see that other people can't see. This is what will put you ahead of the curve, which is why that has that visionary effect. People in the 11th grade are drawn to one sign primarily, and that would be the sign of Leo first, followed by Aquarius, or they will be born on the 1st or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. Now, let's say the month, the day, and the year you're born adds up to a 22. That means that is a master number 2. But the way I say it, if the 11 is like getting your master's degree, the way I explain it to my clients or the people I talk to in that way, keeping it simple, the month, the day, and the year you're born, if it's 22, says you like having your PhD degree. And this is why they refer to 22 as the master builder. Those who can take those ideas and concepts that people see in their minds or see in life and make them into something that's tangible, concrete, something that's doable, and adding things like that, which is why they refer to it as the master builder. And this would include those especially under the sign of Aquarius first, followed by Leo, or if they are born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, the 28th, or the 31st of the month. So that is it about the destiny numbers or birth path numbers or life path numbers, or symbolically the grade you're in the school of life according to the month, the day, and the year you're born. Here's another fascinating fact. Whatever your destiny number is, it tells me that was the universal day at that year, month, and day and time of your birth. So if a person is in the 9th grade, that is the month, the day, and the year they're born adds up to a 9, it tells me it was a 9 universal day that day. So all you got to do is when you take your month and day and year and whatever that final number is, that was the universal day for that particular day in your life when you were born. Okay. So that's important to understand. So that's the long range. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying. So when I would talk to people about their destiny numbers, they say, yeah, so what, yeah, so what. But I found that the short range comes from your date of birth. So we take an example of the person born December the 24th, 1984, that at the long range of those three factors are a 4, but the more immediate uh, aim, it comes from the date of birth, which is in the center. So if a person is born on the 24th, 2 plus 4 is 6. That's the immediate number. If a person is born on the 18th of the month, one place is 9. That's the immediate number. Because let me tell you what happens. Where the destiny or the grade you in is over long range, the date of birth open the door for me determining what your best numbers are, your best days, your best dates, your best months, your best years and ages in the past, the present, or the future. That I learned from the date of birth, not the long range of the destiny. And most students come out and they will know their destiny number, which is long range, but somehow they don't seem that mix unless your destiny number, which is the month, the day, and the year you're born, is also matching your date of birth. And if that's the case, then that would explain. But it's the date of birth that gives me more of the immediate response. And if you notice, when I read the Live with Lloyd family, it is about taking that date of birth primarily. Then I'll go to the zodiac sign. So that's important. Now, this is why you're not just one number, you are a composite of numbers. The next set would be your cycles. What does that mean? So if we took December the 24th, 1984, and broke them into 3 cycles, cycle number 1 is a 3 because 1 plus 2 is 3. Cycle number 2 is a 6 because 2 plus 4 is 6. And cycle number 3, 1984, would be 22 because 2 plus 2 is 4. But again, the rule is not to reduce the master numbers to a single digit of a 2 or a 4. So those would be the cycles. Cycle number 1 is called the formative cycle. It indicates your early childhood, your environment, your education, whatever the case is. And that normally comes from the time we get here at 0 to the time we're around about 28 or the first solar return. Then the day you're born is the productive cycle. That's when things get really, really busy. That's when you find your career. Normally we find mates, start families. We begin to get life's experience and build our careers and things of that nature, step out on faith, all depending on the circumstances. And that's why it's a very active time between that 28, 29, up until about 56. The year that you're born is your harvest cycle. That's that's the latter part of the life. That tells me how you're likely to end your last days on this planet. It begins around 56 until the 0 factor comes in when you go to rest. Okay. And so that is how that is broken into those phases. So so what I'm saying is it all depends. In cardology, I've noticed with Nina Diamond, Aquarius, Jazz Aphrodite, and those who are into this, not only do they take what your card number is, but also what age is occurring at that time, because we do the same thing numerically with the year. So a person who's an 8 and they happen to be 44 at that time, that's going to be a very significant age for them because that adds to that number. Or a person who's a 6 and they're 6 years old, 15 years old, 24, 33, 42, 51, 60, 69. These will always be important ages, but there are other numbers too that normally come into play too. But this is just to give you an example. So those are the cycles that we go through. Every single one of you will go through those cycles. So if you got youngsters, they probably still in a formative cycle, getting their nose wet, trying to figure out who they are, going to school, going to college, whatever the case is like that. Then by the time they get to that middle of the life, then things get busy. You're trying to hold it down, keep a roof over your head, find who you want to be, forming a family, whatever the case is. And then toward the latter part of life where the harvest is, it tells me how things are kind of ending up, all depending on how you prepared yourself, especially in that middle cycle. The middle cycle is the most important. That's why they call it the productive cycle. It's your make or break. It's called in palmistry, they call it the plane of Mars, that indicates during that time where this is your make or break moment, when you got that time where you're going to carve the path of what you want to work out in the end of the rainbow with this. All righty. Then there are the pinnacles. Now, what are they? The pinnacles are the high points according to the destiny. Again, You're more than just one number. You're actually a couple of numbers, but it all depends on which number you're looking for. In my case, when I do this show, when I read my clients, I'm definitely focusing on two numbers primarily, which is the date of birth and the why you're here, which is the month, the day, and the year you're born. Then I go into other particulars. The pinnacles represent is taken from the birthday, the month, the day, and the year. The first pinnacle is taken from the month and day. So a person born, in this case example, December the 24th, their first pinnacle would be a 9 because 3 from the month plus 6 from the date would add up to a 9. Then you take the second pinnacle, which is determined from the date of birth, which is the 24th, but you add it to the year in this question, which is 1984, which adds up to a 1. So 6 plus 4 is 1. So the second pinnacle would be a 1. To get the third pinnacle, you take the first pinnacle and add it to the second pinnacle to get the third pinnacle, which would be a 1 again. And so finally, if you want to get the final pinnacle, because there are 4 pinnacles altogether, each 9 years in their cycle. So you take the month, which is a 3, to the year, which is a 4, and that will add up to the final pinnacle. And 3 plus 4 is 7. So this person in their final days will be more spiritual, more insightful, more analytical, more private, more reserved, more sophisticated, more in search of knowledge and wisdom and understanding and things like that. Now, my moderator on Monday, Jazz Aphrodite, this is her baby. Nobody does this better than her when it comes to interpreting those pinnacles. Because then on the flip side of the birthday, you got your challenges, which is where you add the month, the days, and that together to get these pinnacle highlights. The challenges do just the opposite. And so, for example, taking December the 24th of 1984. So if you got 3 plus 6 and subtract, the first challenge would be a 3. That's the first challenge of that person. So then if you got 6 plus 4, then the second challenge would be a 2 because you're now subtracting. And these will tell you the low points that will likely challenge you or stand in your way if you're not aware. Again, one of the best interpreters of this art form of the pinnacles and the challenges is Jazz Aphrodite, who moderates my show on Monday. So I ask all of you, she should give her numbers. So if you want to know your pinnacles, your challenges, your highs and lowlights in life, she is the one. She can do it expertly with a lot of sophistication. She's the best. Okay. So then once you do that, then comes the other part, which is the personal cycles that you're in. The personal year determines the month, the day, and the year that you want to know about. So you know how we started with the first, like the month, the day, and the year you're born? So that person, December the 24th. So instead of me saying December the 24th of 1984, the month and day and year they were born, in its place, I put December the 24th, 2024, the year I want to know about. That tells me the present cycle that they're in for that particular year in time. And this is what makes all the difference in the world because we all go through these yearly cycles. So again, you're not just one number, you're a composite of numbers. It all depends on what we're looking for in our field of numerology, with especially Brother Rebels Bay, who's one of the best at this. He and I have been doing this between us both nearly 100 years. Seriously, no joke. We've been doing this for a minute. Um, then when you have Jazz Aphrodite, King Simon, Brandon Smith, all of these other people who knew how to do these things to help and guide you in a way that helps, makes you, and makes a, at least solve the problem of why things are going on, what phase you're in. And the next time I'm going to be focusing on the name because the name has its meaning too. It has its vowels, it has its consonants, it has its expression, it has its soul urge, things of that nature. And then another thing that I feel that Jazz Aphrodite is about is the transition, the transit of a number. So, for example, my name is Lloyd, LL. So the first 6 years, I'll be going through my L transit. All righty. Why? Because the letter L, excuse me, adds to a 3. So when you got twice those, that means my first 6 years was a 6 going through that. So anyway, there's a lot to it. Next time I'll make sure it's early so I can explain these transitions. I really do have them. I didn't have time to bring them on before I know that time got away from me. And so I says, well, let me do it from my head. But I'd like to show you on the screen because I'm the kind of person I like to see things. So for those of you who may have a problem, or kind of grasping the concept, just bear with me. I'll make sure I review it again, but in a more shorter manner so you can understand. But I'll be ready this time, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my comment section. Please get the likes up. I need to thank Stephen and Carol Williams. I think TJ. I thank all of you who come on, especially Melanated 8. I mean, I think that's how she kicks off the show. Almost always guaranteed. But I'm very, very appreciative of all of you because y'all think that I've made the show a success. No, it's my guest that made this show a success, and it's the countless viewers that I've had on the wide range. And so, beginning next week, I'm going to be starting bringing a whole new set of people going into the holidays about beautification. Uh, and so it's going to be really, really nice. Some you might be familiar with, but what I want you to do is support them. We like to spend money all over the place, but we need to spend money amongst ourselves too. We need to kind of keep some of this in the family. All righty. So that's what I'm about this holiday season. Okay. So with that, let me go to our comment section. And so, by the way, for Jazz Aphrodite, if she can give her email so people can get in touch with her, especially learning about your pinnacle. I'm telling you, the pinnacles, the transits, the challenges, because we all have highs. Why is it one day we're riding the crest and another day we're in the valley? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has an ebb and flow, and just reverse. Where Tyler Perry was in the valley, homeless. Now he owns a major studio in Atlanta, making movies, whatever the case is. You see, so you never know. So the beauty about what we do is you don't give up on life. You try to find out how to be in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe. Everybody knows about being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but what about being in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe? And that in and of itself is okay. So let me give you an example of I'm seeing this person here. Kiona. She's born February the 2nd of 1996. So that's, if I'm looking at it right, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So their destiny number would either be a 2 or would be a master number 11. Because what I did with her is I took mentally, see, normally when I'm looking to see if it's an 11 or a 22, there's a way I do it on paper to make sure. Now, if you do 2 plus 2 plus 7 and do it that way, it will add up to an 11. But if I do it the proper way by putting the month at the top, the date underneath, the year underneath that, add my columns, add it across, that will tell me. So we're gonna take the high road. So let's say this person's month and year adds up to the master number 11. That means you are highly evolved. And as one of my famous students says, to whom much is given, much is required. Okay. And what that simply means that you would come into this world with a lot of visionary talents, a cycle of an ability to see way ahead of the curve of things like that. You will also frighten yourself when you'll see something or say something, they'll say, well, how do you know that? And it scares you because you didn't read it in a book, you didn't see it in a paper. People on that level seem to get things from the Most High. That's what that's about. And they can't explain it in that way, but almost always with their visionary qualities, they wind up being correct. People in the 11th grade, or this case, normally do well in areas connected with foods. And because you're born in the second month on the second day, and 2 is shaped like the intestines, rule the foods, or the stomach, it tells me either very finicky or fussy about your eating habits, your dietary laws, or picky about where you eat at, whose house you eat at, and things like that. And since 2 deals with smells and aromas, you might even sometimes smell the food. If the food's not smelling right, you ain't doing nothing with it. Okay. So that's what I am seeing in this case. But your immediate number is the number 2 because you're born on the second day of the month. See, so the long range is the master number 11 or /2. But your immediate number is a 2. So that tells me that at ages 2 and 7, 11 and 11 and 16, 20 and 25, 29 and 34 and 38 and 43. All those ages will be very important to you. But because you're an Aquarius too, I would also have to include the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, 31st, whatever the case is like that. And what's so interesting to me, I got to be honest, when I'm doing a person's ages and years of important change, I stop. They give me this look like, is that when I'm going to meet my maker, whatever, but it's not that. I'll just stop. It's not that I do it deliberately. I'll just stop. So that's it. So those are your lucky numbers, and it tells me since you got all those twos, you need a hug twice a day. Okay, there's no question about that. That would do you wonders. All righty. So let me start back. Okay. This person, Sharita Wilson, she was actually waiting. Now she's a number two also. All righty. So she's born in the year of the nine, because I looked at the nine. So her month and day and year she's born tells me she's in the first grade in the school of life. That means she has to learn how to be independent, self-reliant. Let's say this person, you, Sharetta, happen to be in a codependent relationship. Well, if you're in the first grade, what it simply means to me, at some point in life, you will be forced to stand on your own if you've been in a codependent relationship, depending on others to love you, depending on others to help you and support you. It will find that it will be the case. Now, you're born at 3:53 p.m., so that means your sun is in the eighth house in the in your chart. And the eighth house rules the sign of Scorpio, which is reflection and things of the past, stuff like that. So her long range is a one, which is about being self-reliant, independent. Tells me Aquarians and Leos and um, will be in part of her life in Aries or people with a 1 or 4 day. But her immediate number is that number two. She's born on the 20th day. So yes, she's a Leo. Yes, she's a one, which governs Leo, her sign. But it tells me that despite all that, she's really, as I like to call it, a sweetie pie. That when you got to know her, just give her a hug. You want to settle her, just say, come here, girl, let me get some sugar. That will do all the wonders in the world for her. Believe it. And yet she's very detailed, very analytical, very intuitive, and I wouldn't play it. So her immediate numbers, according to my method, would be the 2, 7, 1, and 4. She's one of those rare finds that's got four numbers. And if I had to look at her personal year, which is taking the month and day she's born and adding it to the year, she will be entering a 9 personal year, a year that brings about conclusions. And since 9 is an opposition number to the 2, it simply means to not rush, because nines like to be impulsive sometimes. They like to rush. But since you were born under the 2, it simply means try to not be caught up in forcing people to rush you, but take your time. Because 9 on the health side rules accidents and injuries and fender benders and nicks and cuts and burns and bruises and breaks and falls, things of that nature. Okay. So thank you, Sharetta. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. As Jazz says, please get the likes up. Now, see, this is Melanated Brown. She does this every time. Thank you very much, Year. I appreciate that very much. And also the same with the Williams family out of Chicago, too. Both water signs, by the way, which is interesting, Scorpio and Cancer. All right. Let me say this. Thank you for the donations. Again, let me tell you how the donations work. My moderators know I get so many responses from you, which I thank you very much. That sometimes I don't have, when I look, when the show is over, and then it gives me a chance to see everybody. So there's some people who will donate and some people who don't. I'm not looking for that. But there's some people who might feel that if they donate, I must read them, and they don't know that I didn't catch them at that time. So for those of you who are thinking like that and you want to donate only after I happen to have caught your name and read you, then you can donate. Because I don't want to feel nobody's being cheated, nobody's being ripped off. I gave you my money, because everybody needs everything they can get their hands on. So my thing is, my moderators know how busy I am, and I'm doing this all by myself in my home. So this is all I'm saying, folks. Okay. So I thank you very, very much. Okay. So let's see who we got. We got CC77. All right. She is born on December the 17th of 1971. So first of all, she's born in the year of the 9, and she also has a number 1 destiny, or she's in the first grade in the school of life. So normally people in the first grade of life normally drift into areas connected with law, medicine, science. They become your entrepreneurs, your presidents, your CEOs, your supervisors, managers, directors, but they normally hold some title of authority at one degree or another. Not only that, with you, Cece, born on the 17th, which is a money number called the 8-pointed star of Venus, or the number of immortality or the power of financial success. That tells me that more than likely, you definitely, without question, I could say held some position of authority, working for the government, working for law, working in real estate or banking or something like that, a good administrator, and you know how to count your money better than the bank can do it too. It also indicates from your birth date, not only do you attract younger men, you attract older ones, and you attract those from different cultures. So you may have had a mix of a little bit of long distance, older, younger, and people that, like, what part of the world are you from? That kind of thing. But your most important numbers are the 8, 3, and 6. And your best days are always on a Saturday, because each of them, see, that's what I'm saying. You don't get this from the destiny. All this information of your days and dates and years and ages and changes, I get from your date of birth, not the year and month, the day, and the year you're born. Okay. So this is why my students have always done exceptionally well when they come out the gate with this. Because if you talk to other numerologists, they will say, well, you'll have a destiny number. And so, yeah, what does that mean? Well, over a long period of time, well, most people want to know what's happening right this second. And so that's why the date of birth comes in as very important. Okay. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. Wow. Dorothy McLean, thank you so much for the donation. That's very nice of you. I appreciate that. Um, this is the Dove Fly KM, February the 15th, 1965. All right. So if you took 1965, that adds up to 21, which is a 3. And so when I take 3 to 6, that tells me this person is either in the second grade in the school of life or master number 11. So what I did was I shortcutted to see everything I'm doing in my head. This is why I try to tell my viewers, you think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you. That's why God gave us a brain to think, not to just be mesmerized in front of a screen all day. All right. And then we want to know why we go to sleep with our eyes open, you know? So it tells me born on that day. So since the destiny is if it's in 11, it tells me Aquarians and Leos will be in your mix. If it's a 2, it tells me Cancers will be more in your mix. But when I go to the immediate number, which is a 15-6, that's most important to me. So it tells me this person would do well as a teacher, counselor, social worker, advisor, mentor, nurse, professor, life coach, therapist, personal trainer, Reiki master, something where to give service. This person would also do well in real estate, banking, law, working for the government at some point. Or this person could be like Natalie Cole, born on this day, with the voice, because 6 rules the vocal cords, and normally 6s are singers. Like Bob Marley's a number 6. I mean, I can name you some 6 singers all day. But they're known for their voice. And even if this person did not sing, let's say she answered phones all day as a receptionist or an assistant, people will eventually comment how nice or pleasant her voice is. Okay, which is why they have concerns with the vocal cords, allergies, hay fever, heart palpitations, regular blood circulation, stuff like that. There's an art to this. There's really an art to this. And I take this very seriously, and I love helping people. Oh, and here's my brother right there, King Simon. Now, this is my buddy here. He's February the 1st. I ain't gonna get all in his business. But he's really great as far as I'm concerned. All the people I know are great. Ain't nobody perfect. Now, ain't nobody walking on water up in here, all right? But they're all great for the most part, and that's all that really counts. All right, now this is very interesting. This person here, Mrs. Coleman, um, she says that her son is born 11/22/02. Now these would be master numbers. 11 is 1, 22, and the first African American to go into space, God Bluford, was born on this day, November 22nd. All right. But at any rate, uh, if you notice, so if I do 4, 8, 1, this person is in the first grade also. That's your son. So I would encourage him to be a leader, not a follower, to learn how to think for himself, to learn how to make decisions. A lot of times we make decisions because we don't make a decision. Well, if you don't make a decision, you've already made a decision. That decision is not to do nothing with the decision that's in front of you. And so in this case, I would say your son is very visionary, very sensitive, like to be their own best company. The fact that they're born in the year of the 4 could suggest that you, my year, was either an Aquarius or a Leo, or born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 22nd, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. It also indicates that he likes to be his own best company. And when I look at the year coming up for him, he's entering a 5 personal year, which is a year of change. So this year for your son, which is at the end of this month on the 22nd, he's in a 4 personal year. So that means this year is about him getting organized, getting himself together, having a plan or a method of what he plans to do. And the fact that he'll turn 21. Okay, it's very important. I'm excited the following year in the fall of the fall winter of 2024 when he turns 22. That's going to be significant. So his age will be 22 and he'll be matching his birthday of 22, and he's born in the master number 11. I would say you have an extraordinary son, and as one of my favorite students say, to whom much is given, much is required. And that's what I'm looking at right there. Okay. So anyway, all the best on that. I'm glad. Okay. This is Ronald Williams. They're born in 1995, the year of the 6th, so their destiny number is a 9. All righty. All this I'm doing in my head. If you notice, when I do these shows, very rarely do you see me take a pen to paper. Just I'm checking something, but this is just a shortcut of it. And this is how I teach my students to have it in your head in case you don't have a pen or a pencil. You can do it off the top of your head. That's why God gave us a mind. The question is, will you use it or don't use it? So what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. Okay. You get a personal reading. I think Jazz Aphrodite listed that. You have to maybe scroll back a little bit, but it's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's LLoyd-Strayhorn, Strayhorn.com, or Linktree that I learned from Simon. That Simon's helped me, got me on StreamYard, a whole lot of things. So, but he pulled my code to Linktree. It was like, link who? Well, I now know what Linktree is. So it's Linktree/numbers and you. That way you see all of my services listed. Simon was so ahead of the curve. Brother, thank you so much for that. Anyway, in your case, you are January the 20th. So you're borderline, which means you're in the very last stages of Capricorn and or maybe the very early stages of Aquarius. This is why an astrologer needs to know where on this planet were you born. If you were born in Hawaii and it's like going on 8 o'clock, it's actually 2 o'clock there. If you're born in California, you're 3 hours back. So that would be 5 o'clock there. But if I'm going to India or China, they're 12 hours ahead. So this is why the astrologer always, listen, you can give them the month, the day, and the year. That's why I got into numerology, because I don't have to deal with that. But if you're really going to do it right, like the earlier caller who said she was born at 3:53 p.m., she knew that. All I needed was the location, and I could have done and erected a chart on her to tell her where her moon is, her ascendant, her Mercury, her Mars, her Venus, her Pluto, her Jupiter, her Uranus, all these other planetary aspects that go into the chart, which is why I have excellent astrologers on too, like my boy Dominic Holmes. I want to have him back real soon. He is tearing up the, he always has more news than you can use. And I got to be honest, he's no joke. Okay. So in this case, this year coming up, you will be going into a 2 personal year, and it will be a year. And it all depends on how I'm adding it to. If I'm adding it the proper way, which is 1, 2, and then adding 20, 24 underneath, it may be an 11 or 2. But the point is, whether it's an 11 or 2, The fact that the personal year is matching your date of birth. And so that means this is a good year for you to make some changes, uh, make transitions about where you're living or working, feng shui your place, rearrange your furniture. Whatever the case is, there may be changes at the workplace, whatever the case is, too. But you will be in a two personal year. So more than likely, you probably have a change of diet too, things of that nature. Okay. So that's what I am looking at. Alrighty. Okay. This person here, Nora. Hi, Nora. How are you? Thank you very, very much. I noticed a lot of people are born on a Tuesday, and I'm not doing that, but she's born on October the 20th at 2 p.m. So it all depends on where she was born. That means her son is probably in the ninth house, if you do her chart. Okay. So she would be an air sign with a water number, or she's, depending on where she was born at 2 p.m. in that location on this planet, she could have been in very first stages of Scorpio, which would make her a water sign with a water number. But she's born the same day as my good buddy, Brandon Smith. So I'm going to put her in more on the Libra side. So it tells me she's very sensitive. She would do well in the arts, theater, dance, design, fashion, poetry, things of that nature. She would also do well in photography, statistics, the mechanical, mathematical sciences, computers, technology, engineering, IT. She would also do well in counseling, social work, psychiatry, psychology, things of that nature. So when I did it, she's born in the year of the 1993, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the month and day of year she's born tells me she's in the 7th grade in the School of Life. So that means she's here to analyze. She's here to question. So you can't walk up on her and say, girl, I'm in love with you. Not with her saying, why you think you loving me today? Okay. And they be saying, wow, she's kind of hard. No, listen, got to understand, all of us must be as true to ourselves as we want people to be true to themselves. You cannot want somebody to be thinking like you and you want to be true to yourself. So once you understand that, that's why I have a high tolerance for people. I mean, I've always had a high tolerance because I love people in the first place. But what I'm saying is sometimes in our closest, especially closest, we expect that person to think exactly like we. No, we're all individuals. And that person has to be as true to themselves as you need to be and want to be true to yourself. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, this is how I do it. And if you don't do it my way, you go home to your mother. No, because there's going to be a whole lot of lonely people up in this piece. Trust me with this. So what you want to do is make sure that, I understand that's what makes that person who they are. So in this case, it tells me she's very sweet, very receptive. She would do well in the arts. She would do well in theater. She would do well in dance. She would do well as a collector. She would do well in statistics and the computers and mechanical, mathematical sciences. She would also do well in the social services, teaching, nurse, caretaker, professor, psychologist, psychiatrist, anywhere where she can be of service. And one thing I noticed about twos, people are always asking them for advice. So you could be sitting next to a lady on the bus, Nora, and all of a sudden the lady start telling all her business. You be saying, but miss, I just met you. You know what I'm saying? So if you have that experience, that's what it is. But your numbers are the 2, 7, and 6, and your best days are always on Mondays and Fridays. All righty. Okay. Good. Got that done. All righty. Okay. So let's see who else we got here. This is Tigger the God. Go, my man. You a Leo too? That makes sense. Okay. We ain't gonna mess with that. Tigger the God. That tells me he likes to be different. Tigger, I gotta tell you this. You did it 3 times now. Normally, I got a rule. See, you gotta, after 2 times, it cut you off. So you got through the cracks there. But please, because there's so many people trying to get on, I have a rule. If you do it more than 2, I ask the moderators to block you, not deliberately, but it confuses me. Sometimes you'll come over here, then you come over there. So I'm seeing your name in Tigger about 4 times up in this piece. So I ain't complaining. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. And what I'm saying is because of that, sometimes it'll block other people from this. But while I got you, you are July 31st, which tells me very odd and unusual. You're probably an older young lady introduced you to Sex 101 when you was coming up as a kid, which is none of my business. But that's what I'm looking at from your birthday. It also tells me you like to be different always. So I would say you're a genius in your own way. When I look at your birthday, you're born in the year of the 891. So you have a 1 destiny too. And then you're a Leo. So you will attract other Leos and Aries and Aquarians and people that are born on the 1st or 4, or those dates that add up to a 1 or a 4. It tells me you're very, very sensitive. And it also tells me you will forgive, but you won't forget. Okay. And it tells me you attract odd and unusual relationships too. And so if, for example, you don't like being bothered a lot with a lot of people, feel in that case, that could make sense. And because you're born in the year of the 8, it tells me one of your parents could have either been a Capricorn or Libra. No, excuse me, a Capricorn, Libra, or an Aquarius, excuse me, all born on the 4th, the 8th, the 13th, the 17th, the 22nd, the 26th, or the 31st of the month. But your key numbers are always the 4, 1, and 5. Those are your most important numbers, which means Friday and Sundays are always your best days. Okay. So for please, and see, so take it the next time, please. And this goes for everybody. Believe me, I can't read everybody. My moderators tell me I love to read because I enjoy this, but I have to keep it real too in time restraint. So what I'm saying, if you do that, and I should mention that before. Okay, let's see. This is Candina Owens. She is born on the 2nd, and she's born in 1991, which is a 2. She's 32. So that's 2, 4, 5. Her destiny, that tells me you're in the 5th grade in the school of life, which tells me on one hand, the secret to holding on to is to let you go. But on the other hand, it indicates that yet you like things close to home. So you have a dichotomy that the person in your life has to provide that element for the home, and yet at the same time do some other things that allow you the freedom and the flexibility to come and go when you want to. Your key numbers are the 2, 7, and 8, and Mondays and Fridays and Saturdays are almost always your best days. And you just found that you're pregnant. Well, that makes sense to me since you're in a 2 personal year. So if you got pregnant, I was going to say you probably conceived in October because there are 3 pregnancy numbers, which is the 2, 6, and 8. So in October, and I can tell you when you got pregnant, which is also none of my business, but probably when you conceived, it was probably the week of the 22nd to the end of October, I bet you. And you're wondering if it's a boy or girl. Okay, so here's how it works. She's 32, okay? She conceived in the 10th month. So 32 plus 10 equals 42. That's even. So that there's a higher than average chance you're going to have a girl. We said it right here first on Live with Lloyd. Okay, there's a method. I think I'll discuss that too, how I do that. And I've been doing this so long, I don't know where I get some of these. Some things I just learned intuitively. But the rule is you take the month you're born, the age you are, she's 32. She conceived in October. And so 32 plus 10 is 42. If that number of the month and the age of the person adds up to an even number, it's a girl. If it adds up to an odd number, it's a boy. But in this case, under this theory, you're likely to have a girl. So please, Candida, when you find out, can you please just let me know, like Stray, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever the case. I can handle it. I can handle it, really. Okay, I ain't perfect, but I try to be. Anyway, congratulations, young lady, mommy. And you're heading into a 2 personal year too. Okay, so if you're pregnant in October, all I got to do is go back 3 months. That's September, August, July. The baby will be born in July. You're going to have a Leo. You're going to have a Cancer Leo baby, girl or baby boy. Because doctors have been wrong. You know, there's a series I did on childbirth, and I put it on TikTok in segments. And some people have said, they said it was going to be a girl, but it came out to be a boy. So everything is not always wrapped in stone, okay? But anyway, I would say yes. If you conceive in October, the doctors will tell you that that baby's going to be due in July. And how you do it, the month you conceive, you count back 3 months. So I says October don't count. September, August, July. That's when the baby's due. A Leo. Okay, thanks, mommy. And in fact, you are heading into a 2 personal year anyway. So it means you're ready to change things around. And the fact that you're now going to be a mom means you're probably going to be setting some time, rearranging the house for the new baby when they come, all depending if you don't have any babies already. But congratulations, mommy. All righty. Oh, by the way, your numbers are the 2, 7, and 8, and Mondays and Fridays and Saturdays are your best days. Okay. See, this is fun for me. Okay. I'm going to get off this phone in a minute. Nora. Okay, I read Nora. Thank you so much for the donation, Nora. I appreciate that very much. Okay, don't forget you're a 2. All right, a lot of people don't know 2 day. What's up with that? Okay. Let's see. Let me go back a bit. And thanks, TJ. TJ is TJ's family. He does this all the time. TJ, thank you. He's born October the 15th. Okay, so and his folks and my folks are out of the same area of the country in the South. All right, this is Lovely Stylists. Okay, they are December the 14th of 1981. So they're born in the year of the 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, you're right. The month, the day, and the year you're born tells me you're in the 9th grade in the School of Life. But your more immediate number tells me you're born on the 14th, okay, which is a 5. So 1 plus 4 is 5. That's how I got that. So that tells me your most immediate number. So you would therefore be, astrologically speaking, a fire sign with an air number. So this combination of fire and air makes for movement, motion, a lot of activity, a lot of energy, things of that nature. It also tells me your key numbers are the 5, the 6, and the 3, and your best days are always on a Wednesday, Friday, and a Thursday, although they would say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yours says Wednesday's first, Friday second, then Thursday is always in third place. The fact that you are going into, so we're going into what? So you're going actually into a 7-person year. So you're going into a year where all of this hive of activities, hive of motion and movement is going to slow down, where you're going to take a moment to really figure out what you're doing, why you're doing it, get away from the noise, the drama, and confusion. And so you're going to be in for a very interesting journey, that's for sure. All right. Okay, this is Nazika Leach, who's born October the 11th. I'm getting these 2s and 11s and 20s. Anyway, you're born in the year of the 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have a 9 destiny. In other words, you're in the 9th grade when I add the total of the month, the day, and the year you're born. But your more immediate one is the 11th day of the month. So you had a birthday last month, so we'll be the word wish you happy belated birthday. And so your key numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. And this year coming up, you're going into a year where you're about to go into a transitional mode to rearrange your life, to rearrange things around your life, whether it's in the home or at the workplace or with certain relationships, whether it's a makeup or breakup situation, which only you know. Also, since I'm looking at this birthday, it tells me that more than likely you're probably going to be doing something with your weight or a change in your diet. And let me say this for what it's worth to my Live with Lloyd family. Read the labels on the ingredients carefully when you're in the supermarket. A lot of them are saying bioengineered ingredients added. Bioengineered. Don't take my word for it. There's certain snacks and what I like. I just don't get them because I don't want to be glowing in the dark in 10 years, okay? But a lot of things are now saying bioengineered ingredients. They don't say what that ingredient is, why they put it in there, who made the decision to do that. So until I find out what that is, I'm just going to back off. So all it's doing me is being more conscious of what I put in my body temple. That's all it's doing. But please read the labels. And a lot of people don't read. We're just used to just picking up a package, putting it in the shopping cart, or just going to the cashier with it and paying for it. But a lot of the things are now saying bioengineered ingredients. So please make a note of that. Okay. So anyway, your numbers is 2, 7, and 6. All righty. I'm just going to take 2 more. I'm going to take Deshawn, that's born September the 5th. And Deshawn is a Virgo 5 person. So that means that, so if I do it, they were born in the year of the 7 and 7, 9. So your month, day, and year you're born is a 3. You're in the 3rd grade in the School of Life. That's what that tells me. That's your long range. But your more short range is at 5. 5 rules Virgo. So your number is in its natural home. 5 is the number of activity. They're multifaceted. They're well-rounded. They're very diversified. They normally walk or talk very, very early before they're 1 year old as a rule. They work well under pressure, yet they're not known to have the best patience in the world. So if you're dealing with a number 5 child, Deshaun, and use that kid that was always restless, see, that's the beauty of having a knowledge of a teacher like this in the school, where they know why this child is so restless they can't, sit still. That's because maybe they're 5 or another number that shows activity like a 9. These are kind of energizing numbers. So, and then if it's a number 2 or 6, well, they're earth numbers and water numbers. So they're more patient. They're more, having this kind of knowledge is so, so important to understand you and your family. But your numbers are the 5, 6, and 9, and your best days are always on a Wednesday, followed by a Friday, followed by a Tuesday. That's it. I'm going to take one more, and I'm going to do Ann Little, who was born on the 18th of 1968. So she's born in the year of the 6th. And so she's born in the month of August. So she's in a fifth grade in the school of life herself. Okay. And so that simply means to me that she will always ever be about change. So she may have noticed, Anne, that almost every 4.5 to 5 years, there's been a change in your life with a relationship, a career, a residence, a job change, but something that like almost every 4.5, 5, maybe 5.5 at the latest, always some kind of change, always a constant change. And it tells me you get along better with the males and the females. And it tells me I've noticed that 9 women, in fact, I'm going to come up with another series of taking women out on a date from 1 to 9 and taking a man out on a date, or a man taking you out on a date from 1 to 9. I think you're going to find that interesting too. But anyway, 9 women I noticed normally attract men in uniform. So if a police officer, construction, sanitation, EMS, fire person, mechanic, or something who deals with tools, machines, and instruments, like you, more than likely, you will attract them to you. That don't mean you have to be hooked up to them, but it means they will definitely be drawn to you because 9 rules fire, and fire rules Mars, the planet Mars, and Mars rules policemen and military men and men of emergencies, of EMS and fire and construction and things like that. This stuff is fascinating and it's hundreds of thousands of years old. Lloyd hasn't discovered nothing. I just happen to study this long enough to be able to interpret these things to make it go. All right, everybody, let me take one more. And by the way, your numbers are the 8, 1, and 4. And since you don't take orders, Ann, and looking at the year you're in coming up, it tells me you're going into a kind of a soul-searching cycle, a cycle where you need to kind of slow down, question why you're doing the things you're doing, what does all this mean, and where do you plan to go as it relates to 2024 into 2025, okay? So anyway, I'll just take one more, and that will be it. That will be it. Okay, I'm going to take Fred Navi, December the 26th, 1954. Okay, so Fred is born in the year of the 1. So you're in a 3-personal year. You're in a 3-personal year, okay? So that means that probably much of your life you've gotten to, it's interesting, people in a 3 destiny or in the 3rd grade tend to do well in government, religion, or the arts, photography, jewelry, designing, things of that nature, working for the government. Also, I've noticed that people have people with a 3 strong connection or a strong connection with their 3 tend to do well in the pharmaceutical related business, in sales or in the pharmaceutical industry, things like that. That's one thing I discovered. It also tells me, Fred, you were raised by a 3rd party coming up, like your mom and dad may have been around, but somebody equally important, like a grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt, something like that, played an equally important role in your development as well. Very intense, very loyal, very dedicated. And when you feel you're right, you're not budging, that's for sure. A little misunderstood, but once people know you, they find you are just great. All righty. So with that, Fred, your key numbers are the 8, 6, and 3, and your best day is always on a Saturday, a Friday, and a Thursday. Okay, that's it. I want to thank you very, very much for that. By the way, there's a couple of things I need to let you know. Oh, people ask, I keep forgetting to put up my banner, so I'm going to put it up one time. Just take a screenshot right quick or picture, because where is it? Where is Lloyd? There we go. That's me right here. Okay. So I'll read it once and I'll keep it moving. It's Lloyd Strayhorn, astronumerologist, author, site, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, star8.com to download my Star 8 app. Linktree/Numbers in You. Thanks to King Simon. I have a free monthly newsletter for November that's now out. I have an online course that's now on sale. I'm on Instagram and Facebook under Numbers in You. My Cash App is $ Numbers in You. Okay, good. Got that out the way. Okay, let's see. Let me clear this. Okay, now I'm going to come on Wednesday, but I'm going to talk about the name, how that works. There's more than just you, this number, that number. How to look at your name, how a person, once the numbers repeated, it tells a lot. But in the meantime, please sign up for my free monthly newsletter. Okay. For November, it's been out on November 1st, so people should have it in their mailbox. No, I don't give out your email addresses either. I don't play that. My course is on sale. See, it's getting, and that's the only time I advertise. Yes, I'd like to get it at the full amount. Who wouldn't? But I want you to get the knowledge, and there be no excuse for not having this knowledge. All 3 courses you can own for the course of less for dinner for 2. Okay, you own it. You own it. It's my Learn from LLoyd series, How to Read a Person Like a Book, the next step in numerology, and the one that Jazz Aphrodite and I did, the do's and don'ts of numerology, that's really getting its traction on too. So that's it. Also sign up for the free newsletter. I mean, the Star 8 app. Thank you. Part of it is free. It's a freemium, as they call it. Anytime you got a problem with it, if you can't download it from Amazon, Android or Apple, go to star8.com and log in from there. Also, if you got any concerns about it, as I do now by going to a star8 LLC at Gmail, I can then send whatever your concerns is directly to the developers. Developers will get back to you, and they've been doing a fantastic job, and it is getting better. I'm not all 100% there, but I guess that's why they all keep updating it. Please, for those of you who kind of want to catch my shows in snippets where I break it down in a minute, go to TikTok. I've been on since April 10th, but already the responses has just been tremendous. And also, if you want to take a beginner's course, you can also take that on TikTok as well. All righty. So that's it there. That's TikTok. This is where you get the respond to my app or download it, or questions you may have. This is the promotion. It's really nice. I like it myself. Okay. I mean, of course you want to like it yourself, but I do. And this is the online course. Well, please sign up for the course. I think it's today and tomorrow. I don't know what this for the next 2 days, but take advantage of it now. All righty. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that's it. I thank you, everybody. I will see you Wednesday. We're going to do a part 2. And also, I'm going to be at an event this Saturday out in Brooklyn, at Nicholas Brooklyn. And Red Pill from Atlanta is coming up. And I'm going to have him on for a brief to talk about what he's going to do. His birthday, he's a Scorpio 5 person, so his birthday's around the corner. And so we're going to have him on. But I'm going to be talking about the power of your name. Because where the birthday tells me the why you're here, your name tells me what you know. And I think that's going to be very important. So what you know about yourself and other people that you meet too. Everybody have a blessed day. Please take good care of yourself. I thank you all so much. And I thank you all for making this a great show. I really like doing this now. At first I wasn't, but I enjoy it. But thank you so much. Okay. Bye-bye now.